In 1982, a 59-year-old grandmother lifted a car off her trapped son with her bare hands. She held it just long enough for him to be pulled free. Doctors call what happened to her body in that moment hysterical strength. And it turns out that's only one example of something much bigger. Just how far past what we think is normal the human body and brain can actually go. Angela Cavallo's son, Tony, was crushed under a 1964 Chevy Impala when a jack failed. She lifted the car roughly 4 inches off the ground just by reacting to a sudden flood of adrenaline. Exercise scientists say that surge can make ordinary muscles 5 to 15% stronger for a few seconds, enough in the right moment to move a car. A Dutch athlete named Wim Hof claimed he could consciously control his own immune system using nothing but breathing and cold exposure. In 2014, scientists trained 12 ordinary volunteers in his method for just 10 days, then injected all of them with a bacterial toxin. The trained group cut their inflammatory response by more than half, something doctors had assumed was completely involuntary. London taxi drivers spend up to 4 years memorizing every street in the city, a test known as the knowledge. Brain scans found their hippocampus, the region tied to spatial memory, was physically larger than average, and it kept growing the longer they drove. Their brains had reshaped themselves around the job. Daniel Kish lost both of his eyes to cancer before he turned 2 years old. He taught himself to click his tongue and read the echoes, the same principle bats use to navigate in the dark. He rides a bike through traffic using nothing but sound. Brain scans show that when he echolocates, the visual cortex of his brain, the part meant for seeing, lights up instead. For decades, doctors and athletes believed it was physically impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Then, in 1954, Roger Bannister did it. Within 3 years, 16 other runners broke the same barrier. Nothing about human physiology had changed. What changed was that everyone finally knew it could be done. In 2021, Croatian freediver Budimir Šobat held his breath underwater for 24 minutes and 37 seconds, breathing pure oxygen beforehand under official competition rules. For most people, the body starts fighting for air after about a minute. He was 56 years old and had only taken up freediving 8 years earlier. After a severe stroke, some patients lose the ability to move an entire side of their body. Yet with the right rehabilitation, healthy parts of the brain can gradually take over functions that were lost, slowly rewiring themselves around the damage. Recovery that doctors once assumed was impossible past a certain point is now documented in patients years after their injury. In 1999, a young Swedish doctor named Anna Bågenholm was skiing in Norway when she fell through the ice of a frozen stream and became trapped upside down in freezing water for 80 minutes. By the time rescuers reached her, her heart had stopped, and her core body temperature had dropped to 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit, one of the lowest ever recorded in a survivor. Doctors slowly warmed her blood outside her body, and after more than a year of therapy, she made a full recovery and went back to work as a doctor herself. Researchers at the University of California once studied a woman they called AJ, who could recall almost every single day of her life since she was 14 years old in vivid, verifiable detail. Her memory wasn't a party trick. It was constant, involuntary, and confirmed against her own diaries going back decades. Scientists eventually gave the condition a name, hyperthymesia. She was the first documented case in the world. None of these people were born with an ability the rest of us don't have. A flood of adrenaline, a change in habit, thousands of hours of repetition. That is what moved every one of them from ordinary to extraordinary. The real question was never whether the human body and brain are capable of this. It's how much of that capability most of us never bother to find out we have. If stories like this fascinate you, subscribe, because there are more of them coming.